So this is Google Drive Advanced Tools through Jackson County Library Services, and we've got a lot lined up for you today. So first, we're going to go through a virtual tour. We're going to give you a few slides to orient you, give you some contact information you can use later if you have more questions or would like one-on-one assistance. We also have a live exploration of all of the tools. So if you have any questions while we're presenting, please ask them in the chat. And we have a couple of spots for question and answer, so we will for sure go to your questions in the chat once we do the question and answer sessions. So right now, what I'm going to do is go into sharing my screen, and I want to let you know everything that's available to you in the library. So right here is the homepage of the library website, and we have a few things that I want to kind of orient you to. So under research, we've got a couple of options: all databases or business and investment. So when we go to business and investment, you're going to see all of the resources and me with a very different haircut and style. So you'll see my contact information is right there. You can book a librarian. You can see all of the upcoming programs. These are some of the more popular services. When we go into research, all databases, you will also have access to something called Udemy, and that's right down there. So that's a place where you can get all the skills that you want to build up. Like if you want to do development for your business and get the hard and soft skills that you need without having to pay a lot of money for those courses, that is a place to do that. And we're going to be referencing them a bit today because they have a lot to offer in regard to what we're talking about. And so I've logged in ahead of time. This is what Udemy looks like. And you have a lot of options here. So, okay, so it's asking me to sign in again. And let's see, I'm gonna go with sign in with Google. Yay, okay. So now I'm fully in. Okay, so I can see some of the top recommended courses. I can look up at the topics. I can search for specific things. Someone recently asked me, how do I learn more about QuickBooks? I looked through Udemy and there was a course available. So, okay, so now that we've got a little bit of that under our belts, let's go and do a really quick presentation so you know a little bit more about what's going on. And we'll go into full present mode. So this is who's talking with you today. We've got Nicole and myself. Our contact information is listed below. Services at your library are listed right here. So digital services, business information services, and the workshops that we offer. If you have a particular workshop that would in mind that would help you, let us know, and we will work with you on meeting that need. So why is Google Drive important? More than 800 million users worldwide are on Google products. You have access to 15 gigabytes of free storage. You can get more if you would like to pay a scaled fee depending on how much storage you need. You can share with colleagues and collaborators near and far, so that opens you up to some open access tools that you generally do not have to pay for. Free tools comparable to Microsoft Word and Microsoft Office suites, and offline editing is available to you. If you have to be out of Wi-Fi, you can return to Wi-Fi and that will upload to the changes that you've made. So we are not going to recap the two previous programs. Instead, I'm going to lead you to our online access to YouTube. So if you want to go to JCLS Beyond on YouTube, you'll see all of the recorded programs there that you may have missed. And within this workshop, we're going to be going over forms, Hangouts, groups, slides, sites, AppScript, and more. So let's go ahead and look at a real drive. Okay, so I am going to show you behind the scenes. I was using Google Slides. So this is what it looks like when you go out of full present mode and you have access to all of the tools. So one thing I'm going to do right now is go back into the drive. And we'll start going over some of the tools. So, okay, before we get into the tools, are there any questions? And Nicole, do you see any questions in the chat? No? Okay. Alrighty, so we're going to take a look at forms, and I also have an example of a form ready. Okay, you can find forms by going into more under your Google Drive, and that's right there. And you also have access to a blank form or a template. So when you go into template, you're going to find all of this available to you. So whether you are trying to create an RSVP, do an invitation to an event, offer a registration form, see what t-shirt size your team is so that you can order the right t-shirts. I even was able to create something for a no-touch food truck meal order. So if you wanted to make an order, don't want to have any physical contact, there's a way to do that with forms too. So I was really excited about having that option. So let's go ahead and look at that. So this is what I created, and I also did one response. So I'll show you the background. This is what it looks like when I still have my editing view open. So I've added the top image. I can add sections. So I have 5 sections. And this is something really cool. You can do answer dependent form creation. So when I got to the meals, each one of these leads to a particular section. So somebody chose a chicken salad. They're going to go to the chicken salad options. They chose a fried fish. They're going to go to their fried fish options. And then while we're still here, I can show you all of those options below. And then just to show you what it looks like to the people who are going to view it, this is all they see because this is the first section. So I'm going to say, my name is Elanna Earhart, and I would like sparkle water. I would like chicken salad. Next. Then these are all of my options. So, boop. Next. And side options, French fries. Next. Oh, this is doing something a little bit different than what I had expected, so there may be something I need to fix. Yep. Okay, and I can also go into a view of all of the responses that were made. So one thing that you can do while you're still in edit mode is make sure that you get an email for every response that comes in, so you know to continually check for what's there and make sure that you're responsive in a timely manner. So let's go on to Google Hangouts and take a look there. This will be a pretty quick look into everything that you have access to. Just before we go, there are my two responses, and I can go into individual or collective as well. And you'll get to see everything there. Once you go into all of the responses together, you're going to get pie charts and such to see percentages, which you may want to know about. Okay, so let's go into the Google Hangouts now. And for that, we're going to go to the right-hand side under the 9-dot square. And I need to change where the thumbnails for Zoom are so I can access that for just a sec. Okay. When we scroll down, there we go. There are the Hangouts. So this is a really simple functionality. And because we're on Zoom, I won't be able to start a conversation. My camera and my mic are already being used by Zoom, so they can't also be used by Google Hangouts. However, I can show you all of the tools. So you can video call someone, you can phone call, you can message. And you have very similar controls when you're doing a video call here. That'll pop up. You can use this screen to invite someone, or you can copy a link to share to invite them. So if you don't know someone's email address, if you're only connected on Facebook or something, you can send them that link. So I'm going to close out of that. Okay. The phone call is very similar. So you just select from your contacts in this situation, or you can add a new conversation and add a new contact. And message, you can create a new group and begin messaging with people. So overall, very simple, very easy to use. And in Google Groups, that is something where you're going to need to actually go to your browser and Google the name of that app. So here we go. We'll go into here. Okay, so you're going to see a lot of the groups that I'm part of, and I can select to go into those, or I could create a new group. And so what this is basically a way to connect people over email that is similar to a listserv. So if you haven't heard of a listserv, let me know. Basically, the way that functions is you can send emails out to a large group of people, and those people can respond and everybody sees everybody's responses. So it's a really great way to keep people connected. So I can create a group. I'm going to call it new group. Talking about fun things, but also if you were to create a group, you might do that because you're keeping a professional group together in contact. So there may be a lot of different reasons. Okay, this is already taken, so I'm going to say 2020. Okay, and then we get into who can search for this group. So group members can search for the group, or anyone on the web. Do you want to be found by everybody? Who can join the group? So only individual invited users, or can people ask to join, or can anybody on the web join? And all of this you want to be really clear on before creating your group, so you don't get distracted by things that you weren't expecting. And then you can add members. So let's see. Okay, there we go. And group managers, you could say who's a manager, because maybe you are the owner, but you don't want to be responsible for everything. It's really good to have a group member there who can help you with all of the administrative needs. So for example, if there's a conversation that needs to be moderated and you are gone camping, your collaborator could help manage that. Write in a welcome message. And the subscription can be different depending on what you want to offer. So all emails, a digest of everything, which would mean an email of aggregated communications goes out every day, every week, you know, whatever you need. Abridged or no decision there. And I'm not going to create this group, but you can see exactly how that works. Okay. So also, we showed that we were using the slides for this presentation, so using Google Slides. And I want to go ahead and go back into that to navigate back and get into slides. So this is just an example of what you can create. And when you're in this editing mode, there's so much that you can do to add or change your slides. So these circles beside here show that I chose a transition. And I could, if I want to, upload a PowerPoint. One thing I would say is you want to avoid doing that if possible, because some of the content from your upload will not transfer. You have more control over exactly what your content is and not having to double edit and all of that if you create an original slide presentation in Google Slides. So within all of these options up at the top, it may be important to see particularly what you can do with each of the slides. So you can add a transition, change a transition, you can apply a different layout, you can change the background. If there's a slide that you want to keep, but you don't want to go over it in your presentation, you can say skip slide. You can delete, you can duplicate, create new. So you have all of those controls. You can arrange. So let's see, when this is available, you can use all of these options to change your presentation. Within your tools, you can explore anything new that is available through slides. You can link videos and sound. So that's part of what linked objects is. And then you also have the ability to make this accessible to anyone who may have a disability. And so you can voice type speaker notes. And so all of these are made available to you. Under, let's see, insert, you can insert your image, audio, video through this. And you have available to you charts, diagrams, word art, so any of that to change the image and enhance. And let's see, so we can also use these options down here, which just highlights some of the things that are in the Word formatted toolbar so that you can see some of the things that are most popular. Okay, so that is slides at a basic glance. I want to ask before I go on, are there any questions? Are you working on any projects currently that use some of these tools?
I have a question. Are we gonna see Google Documents or?
We for sure can. I am happy to show that. So Google Documents was shown, I want to say in the first presentation, and was included in the second as well for collaboration to see how that works. I am more than happy to add that on at the end today though.
Oh, okay. I just have one question about the margins.
So I can try and find the answer to that for you. I know I've had some difficulty personally with margins in Google Docs. I wonder, Nicole, as we're kind of talking, could you see if there's a solution to changing the margin sizes?
Yeah, I can investigate that, and if you'd like, I can. If I don't figure it out before the end of the meeting, I can email you, Louisa. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Because I know I've had that challenge too. So let's see if we can get you an answer today. And then Jen, did you have your hand raised?
Yes, thank you. So mine was regarding Google Forms. I have a Google form that I'm not trying to send through Google Forms. I'm trying to, have the link and then in my MailerLite send it out through the button there.
Okay.
The thing is that the form doesn't populate for the end user. And I'm doing online searches. I saw reference to like, so people have to be logged in to their Google account to see it. I was just wondering how you can embed a form with the link somewhere else, whether it be a website or through, an email provider like MailerLite, MailChimp, something like that. And then they'll be able to click the link and then the form populates.
So I can tell you that I have included a form in MailChimp myself, and it was successful. One of the things that I had to pay attention to was the sharing options. So when somebody clicks that link, they need to be able to get into the form without, as you're saying, logging in or any of that. So what I would say is under your link options, make sure that anybody with the link can access. So
it didn't do that. And then what happened was that when you clicked on it, the form opened up, but then you couldn't actually fill out the form. You were able to edit the form.
Oh, okay. So there are a couple of different options for how to make the forms accessible. And I think I ran into that as well. There's a little bit of clicking around that needs to be done in order to make sure that you got the right link for people. So when you're in that pop-up window that says sharing options, you want to make sure that you copy the sharing link rather than your browser link.
So do you know do you think you could walk me through like where exactly I'm supposed to go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I want to do right now is go back here. We'll pop this open. Okay. So we've got send, and please excuse me if I'm having to re-navigate something that I haven't thought about for a few days.
No, I appreciate this so much.
Okay, so there's the pre-filled link. And let's see. Let me click on send. Okay.
Yeah, so this is a link. When I embed this link, it doesn't work.
Really? Okay.
Mhm.
So Nicole, could you offer some insight to why this link might not work?
And I am using G Suite, so I don't know if that is a factor.
So
I'm not familiar why that link would not work. I know these are different link forms. One is just an email invite form, one is a direct link, and one is an embed code.
Right.
So
if I use the email, if I click on that email and I send it, it works fine. But if I use the link right there, it doesn't work.
So the only thing I can think of right now is that this format of sending is new to my eyes. And it may have been created in the last few weeks, which Google is famous for doing, like creating things, enhancing things, and then they have to work out the bugs. So I would imagine that this is a bug that Google needs to work out.
Or it could be Google is trying to do a bit more for businesses. So sometimes when you pay for the business-based Google accounts, this could be a new form of sharing that is specific to people that are locked into that organization. And
that's what
added
it
in
seems
that,
like, the language.
added in
It
that
sounds,
business so that if they're not a part of the Google G Suite business platform, they may not be able to see it. It may be inter-organizational, whereas the email link is public for anyone, and the embed code usually is public as well.
Okay, so that's a testing opportunity. So Jen, do you have an account that is not paid through
No.
Google?
No.
Okay, so I'm guessing that since our experiences were different, that
Mhm.
maybe what Nicole is saying, like the difference between G Suite and an unpaid account, is what's making that difference.
Okay.
So, but we can continue researching that and finding out why.
Okay.
Particularly because I would think as a paying customer, you should have access to tools that work really well.
Right. I'm
A lot
assuming
of
it's some
that-
kind of privacy issue or something like that, or I don't know.
And Elanna, that may also be why this link is new to your eyes and mine, because we both have non-paid Google accounts. We have just a free Google account.
Okay. I am in a free account right now.
And you see that link? Okay. I thought you were in the other one.
So both my own and the one for Southern Oregon Library Federation
They're both there.
are
Okay.
unpaid.
Yeah. So just so you know, so when I tried the embed code too, and that just makes it so that the form populates within the email template, and it just runs. It doesn't even populate. So
Oh, interesting.
so it's just that email one is the one that's working.
Okay, so do you want to maybe catch up with Nicole and maybe you can work together to fix that?
Sure.
So
Yeah, I can do a little bit more investigation as to those new sharing options and what their limitations are,
Okay.
and try and figure out potentially what's going on there, why it's not functioning. In fact, if you can email me at
Okay. Would you mind typing it in the chat so I can?
yeah, I can.
Perfect.
That way you guys don't have to share your
Yeah.
email addresses publicly. I'll just use my work one.
Perfect.
You guys can reach out to me there.
Oh, I appreciate it. That'd be great. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah.
okay, so how are we feeling about moving on to another one of the tools? We're good? Okay. So the next tool that I wanted to share is Sites. And let's see. I am going to go up here. I can Google this here, but I also believe I can go into the drive and let's see, I'm going to move the Zoom thumbnails so I can get here. Yeah, also available here. So under your drive. So let's go into sites and internet. Okay, so automatically it's showing us everything available. So you can add content, you can go into a tour. So we'll skip the tour for now. But everything on this page is basically your beginning place for making a website that is available to the public. And let's see, you can scroll down through here and see all of your tools. One thing I want to make sure that you know is available to you is under Udemy. So we're going to go into here and search for constructing a site with Google Sites. Okay, so you have a lot of options as to which courses you want to take so that you're fully supported in making a well constructed website that's going to work. It's going to look right. It's going to have the right feel for the business that you have. So we can go into the ultimate Google Ads. Well, that's Google Ads training. So apologies. There's constructing a website with Google Sites. So that's a beginner level, and it is 12 lectures for 38 minutes, but you can also see that there are other options for learning about Google tools. So you can learn also about Google Drive if you wanted to learn about all of the suite tools and go in depth beyond the hour that we're talking today. So this is, again, a place that you can go to learn about what you can make and what is possible. I have a couple of examples. So this is an example of a site that was made with Google Sites. So Avox Architects, and you can see that it's got pretty much all of the really current imagery and graphics that you would expect to see on a website that represents a very tech-savvy company. So you can also see who's on their team. And you can see that you can create multiple pages. So you're not just stuck with one page. So their page is showing that. I wonder if my internet connection is slowing things down a little bit. That could very easily be the case. Okay, so now we're able to switch. It was my internet. So you've got multiple pages. And another example is, I was very excited to find this because I spent a few weeks out in New Zealand. So I was like, oh, there's an awesome website made with Google Sites that represents a service in New Zealand. So there's a community Japan Day in Auckland. And okay, so let's go ahead and talk about AppScript. So also under the drive, and let's close out a few of these. Get those out of the way. So we can go into AppScript to learn about how to make an app with Google products. So you'll go into your drive and boop, go down here, we'll go into more, and we'll go into AppScript. So this functions not only with what you see right here, but also you can embed Google Sheets that also have code written into them. And understandably, if this is a fairly advanced tool, it takes a lot of time to learn how to code and to learn how to make an app. If you are at all interested, again, this is an option, excuse me, in Udemy. Let's go ahead and app script from level 0. Okay, so you can learn for 2.5 hours, just basic how to use AppScript, or you can go in and deep dive for 21 hours to learn how to make an app. So I know that this may be a niche product, so I just also want to make sure that you know you could search for just about any skill you want to learn, whether that be a hard skill, a soft skill. It's in Udemy. Okay, so we can also go into collections and Jamboard. Those are some of the more simple options. So let's go ahead and get back into here. And okay, we're gonna take a look at collections. So in case you wanted to share specific links with anyone who is on your team, make sure that everybody knows what resources are important for specific topics or for any projects that you're working on. This is a great way to save all of those. You will need to go into the Google app, not the Google browser. So go into the Google app on your device, like your cell phone or your tablet. And through that, you'll be able to add all of the links that you want to your different categorized lists. And for me, I want to be able to save the associations that are important to me. I want to save the professional guidance that's available from other librarians that they have individually created. And you might have similar needs through any business associations or other groups that you are part of. And so finally, we'll go into Jamboard. Okay, and that is right here. So this is just a fun thing that you can use when you're in a meeting. So if you are experiencing, like so many other people, the need to create something together, but you are taking health precautions and doing everything virtually, you may need to have some type of collaborative board to do your brainstorming on. So if I create a new Jamboard, I can have multiple boards on the same file, and I can add information about how I want everybody to participate. So with the pen, I can come in here and start drawing. And if I want this to be a brainstorming session, I'm going to say we have this central issue here, and we have these things that branch off from it. And for each thing, I can also add a picture. And I'm going to do we are definitely talking about kittens today. That is the issue. And so that pops up, and I can change the size and have that represent one of the things that we're talking about in the meeting. So I've added an image. I can add text box. I can, as we're talking, use this as a pointer, like talk about specific things while being able to point at it virtually. So there are a lot of other tools there, and they are super fun. And hopefully that will offer you the opportunity to connect with your peers, your colleagues, your business partners. And I remember we had a question about how Google Docs works. So now that we're kind of done with all of those tools and resources, Louisa, can you tell me a little bit more about what you want to know?
When I'm making a document, yeah, it appears a blank document, then see you have the blinking, like you have a margin, a space, but in mine doesn't appear enough space. It's just like from one edge to the other edge. How can I fix and make it like an inch or half inch?
Okay, so Nicole, did you have a chance to kind of take a look at some potential fixes for that? Oh, you're muted.
I apologize. So the easiest way, especially if the form for some reason isn't showing the margins, there's an article I ran across that said you can drag the little sliders, which I see on your screen, Elanna,
Okay.
to inset, indent, or widen the margins as needed, and they can be dragged to the half-inch point or the 1-inch margin point. Louisa, do you see those when you are looking at a document? That would be the easiest way to change margins. That's how I usually change margins as well.
Okay, this is really good to know. So I'm really grateful for your help, Nicole.
Oh, no worries.
And then we can change that on this side too. Okay, so then there's more space. You have control over that, and that's starting to work. Okay, so Louisa, were there other things that you wanted to know?
Yeah, I have a question. When you're wanting to share a document with other people, it sometimes doesn't allow us, depending on their email. Is it because they're customers and we're a business that it won't let us share?
Do you get an error message when that happens?
It just says that that something like it just, you can't, and so I have to go through and I have to figure out, like, start deleting so that it, and then try and see who it is that, so I have to like basically not send it to everybody because it won't let me. And I don't know if it's more specific, if it's a Gmail that's a problem, if it's because some people, you know, they're iCloud, like it won't send to iCloud emails.
That is likely less of something you're doing and more of a filter. It's what we call a filter setting on. So you can change your filter settings on your email account so that certain emails, I've actually had this happen with my Google account. I will attempt to send things to someone and I will get a return. It's called a mail delivery error message saying we can't send this to that person. Their settings need to be changed in order to receive mail from you. And usually, unfortunately, especially if that's the only way you can get a hold of that individual is via email, they need to lower their filters or add you as a safe sender so that their email doesn't automatically reject your incoming mail.
So there's another option too, like instead of adding them in share, oh, I should name this before I try to do that. Okay, but okay, so share. Alrighty, I can get the link, and right now it's restricted, but I can change it to anyone with the link can edit, or excuse me, view, but I can also change that here to commenter or editor. And once, okay, got it. Once I've got that, I can copy the link and list that link in the body of an email to whoever I'm inviting. So if you're finding that you can't directly invite them, that's another option.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, for sure. So does that help, or were you aware of that previously?
Oh, you didn't know. No, I didn't know that we could send an actual link and they can still be, they're still able to receive. But the them accepting us or changing the filters, it's got to be on their end, right? As us making us a safe sender.
Yes, so I've had a few instances with certain recipients where it just auto rejects my incoming mail, even when I'm not in. I've actually typed out a normal email message with absolutely no links in it, and it will not send, and I will get a mail delivery failure saying their settings are too high or it's too strict, and it's rejecting for whatever reason my incoming mail. I was able to get a hold of that person and have them change their filters a little bit. I also sometimes will try from, and this sounds odd, I apologize, but sometimes if you can't reach them directly through that email, you can try through an alternative email just to let them know, hey, I'm trying to reach you through this email, but unfortunately I cannot. It says that, your email, like your incoming is rejecting it. Can you adjust your filter settings a little bit, or add me to your safe sender list, or add this email to your safe sender list to see if that will help override that issue.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yep. Okay.
So we are at the end of our content, unless you have more questions. So is there anything that we can answer or additional things that we could share with you that you'd like to see? Okay.
No, we're good.
So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. I'm sure the tabs on my browser were becoming a little overwhelming. So I want to thank you all for being here. I know one of our participants has headed out a little early. She may have had something she needed to do, but I send out thank yous through the ether to her. So yeah, I will end now, and I will remind you, like, you can contact us, you can call us or also, use email to let us know any other questions that you have. I did not share all of the resources that are available through the Library for Business, so if you would like to know more about additional things that could be relevant to your specific needs, we can do Book a Librarian and I'll give you a tour.